And so they're asking me, Marnie and Jennifer and Anastasia, the creators of this festival, what do you want to talk about? And I said, instead of talking about like race or recovery or relationships, which those are the subjects I write about, why don't I talk about this, about the publishing process itself, like sending out that query letter, getting the agent, going through the process of going with a publisher, selecting a publisher to go with, and then what happens after that. So that's what this talk is going to be about. The blurb that's on the cover of this is from Holly Whitaker. That's my friend that I told you about. She's a New York Times bestselling author 2 times over. She's also in my genre. This was really important. Oh. So when it's never too early for you to start thinking about your blurb. And it seems silly. And first of all, a blurb itself is a silly name, right? Oh, it's just a blurb. But you're asking someone to read your book in a timely fashion. You're asking them to lend their name to it. You're asking them to kind of speak for your book. And you're asking, it's a lot to say, will you read my book? Will you also really like it? Because if they read it and they don't like it, I don't know what happens. But you're asking them to endorse your book. You're asking them to stand up for it. And you've seen, obviously everybody's seen blurbs. There's a few, but there's a few that make a difference. So this is what I ended up submitting. My name is Laura Cathcart Robbins. You might have heard of my highly successful podcast, The Only One in the Room, and then there's a click through, or possibly read one of my many HuffPo pieces on the subjects of race, relationships, and recovery, another click through. Perhaps you caught the video of my LA Moth Story Slam win last year, another click through to the video. And then I get into the story. I was doing exactly none of these things, not one. And I really didn't know how to go about doing any of them, but I figured I would take a rejection as a call to action and start learning, right? So I took some classes. I took a storytelling class. I didn't know what storytelling was. I thought it was like me telling my kids a story. I didn't know that this was a whole art form done on a mic in front of a stage, on a stage in front of a whole group of people who were there just to hear stories. That's so amazing to me. So I took a storytelling class. I went on and I entered a moth story competition and I won. Very excited about that. I started a blog. I posted there every week for 2+ years. I got myself into a writer's group. And so that was 2017. I started the blog and got myself a writer's group. In 2018, I won the Moth Story Slam. And I started publishing pieces in HuffPo. And then in 2019, I launched my podcast, The Only One in the Room, that was born out of a viral HuffPo article that I wrote about being the only Black person at a 600-person writers retreat. And then that same year, I started getting speaking gigs. And not like they were just coming to me, I was pitching myself for them. I was like, look, I got this podcast, I have these viral articles, like here's what I'm doing, here's why I'd be an asset to whatever it was they were putting together. So I started getting those speaking gigs. Whenever I had an article go viral, and I've had about 10 go viral, I get asked to be interviewed on TV. So all these things were kind of starting to come together. So Howland Agency is always looking for voice-driven books, and because they each have a background in writing, they love beautiful sentences. So send them your beautiful sentences. Zoe in particular, in adult fiction, she's looking for voice-driven stories that subvert reader expectations of their subject matter. She's especially interested in off-putting and unashamed characters, women breaking social expectations, LGBTQ+ characters, grounded magical realism and speculative elements. Amanda Annis from Trident Media, looking for wellness, currently collaborating with Deepak Chopra.